Hey, my name's Sam Collier, and we are back for week 2 of this incredible series entitled The Great Adventure, where we really do believe that the greatest adventure you could ever go on is an adventure with God. Now, as I've said to you before, I interview people for a living, but today and over the next couple of weeks, and even last week, I get to interview some of my greatest friends on this topic of adventure. And this actually is my best friend. Dr. Sojourner. I'm
not a doctor.
kidding. Yeah, he's not a doctor. But he is a Christian influencer. He's a rapper, and he speaks to students all over the country. How you doing, man?
Man, excited to be here.
So good to see you. Before we get started, I have to shout out the shoes because I know the students are saying
LeBron, that's home.
Right,
From Akron,
right.
LeBron James, still our hero, will always be our hero.
Right.
So.
I mean, they're lovely shoes. Last week, we talked about discipline. And we said that the first discipline students need to do to jump into this adventure with God is prayer.
Yes.
This week, we're saying community, really joining a crew. Mm-hmm. Now, you've launched movements, songs, sweatshirts, albums around this idea of crew and community. Would you say that there's something in all of us that wants to be known?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's the natural next step because the quality of your life will be directly impacted by the quality of the people you choose to place in it. So I think prayer is your first thing. That's you going vertical and seeking God and saying help. And then I think you begin to go horizontal and say, I need to choose the correct people who can help me find God more clearly and reveal a lot of things about myself. So there's something that's built that I think God placed in all of us, that there's a deep desire to be known. And I think in this generation, you see young people especially just running towards it, but not knowing where to go. And so I think it's been difficult for them because it's more or less like, it's harder to find community just because technology has taken up so much space and has such a broad reach now that it's hard to find this authentic kind of face-to-face community nowadays. So,
how have you seen this knownness journey and people searching and longing to be known play out in culture?
So when we were kind of crafting the whole crew, which is really finding a healthy community to journey with.
And that's a K, not a C.
It's K with a C, not a C. Yeah, the hip hop twist on it.
Right.
But yeah, so as we were sitting down, we were really looking at it. We sat down with just a lot of people, and the reality was people will gravitate towards negative community just to feel known. Wow. And so there's this deep desire that I just want people to notice me. I want to walk in the room and I want someone to know my name. And if nobody that's good will know my name, if nobody that's good will notice me, then I'll gravitate to people that aren't good, as long as I can feel known and I know that they took the time to learn my name. And so we said, hey, what if you made that extra effort to find good community around you, to say, hey, you don't want to trade the health of the friends that you should be walking with just to feel known, because there's this beautiful pairing that goes with being known and people that are fighting for your dreams and championing and challenging you the correct way. And so, but I think it plays out. You see social media people trying to make as many posts as they can to get as many likes, get as many follows. And that feels like you're known because you got people that are saying, hey, I'm following your page, and they're making comments, but they don't fully know you because they're looking at your highlights and they don't necessarily know your lows. And so.
Well, I mean, I get the honor of being a part of that crew, right? And what you're saying is true because I have people fighting for me, people that really do actually know me. If you were to look into that camera right now and talk to culture, even students all around the world, and give them some advice on their knownness journey, what would you say?
I would say this. It is so easy to end up stumbling into the wrong group of people. And when you choose the right friends, you'll end up having an unbelievable journey that's only enhanced and bettered by every single thing that they say to you and by every experience they share with you. And so you're looking for 3 groups of people. The first group of persons you're looking for are people that are ahead of you in life. And so those could be an older person, whether it's your parents, whether it's a family member, whether it's a coach, whether it is a teacher, whether it's someone that you work with or a boss. You're looking for somebody who you can say, hey, I'm searching for answers and I know that you've been there already, so is there any way you can begin to pour into me? That's the first group of persons you're gonna look for. The second group of people you're looking for are some good people that are around the age that you are. So those are your friends, those are your peers. You're saying, hey, I want people that have common interests with me, but honestly who can sharpen me and say, what's it like on the other side of me, and can be truly honest with you and saying, hey, I think that there's some areas that you don't even see, there's some blind spots that you have, and there's some great things in you that maybe you don't even see yet, and they can begin to pull out greatness in you because they're walking with you every single day. They sit with your lunch table, whatever it may be. That's the second group. Okay, those are the homies, that's your squad, that's your crew. crew, whatever you want to call them, those are the good people that walk alongside you, ups and downs. And the last is oftentimes neglected when it comes to young people, but it's someone that's younger than you, and that could be someone who's a little brother, or it could just be someone that's someone in your neighborhood that you're like, I'm gonna take some time out of my day to help this young person. And here's why it's so crucial. When you begin to lead another person, you learn a lot about the kind of leader that you are, or the kind of leader that you'll become. And so find someone that's ahead of you, find some great people to walk alongside you, and find somebody that's behind you. And I think if you can find those three things, you'll begin to truly exude what it looks like to have healthy community.
Man, that was incredible. I'm getting ready to throw to the field because some good friends of ours actually sat down and unpacked this concept of joining a crew and community in a greater way. But before we go there, you've written a little freestyle that I want to throw to about your own knownness journey. Throw to that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. This was me literally a year or so ago saying, I want to just open up and be vulnerable about my journey. So this is a freestyle. If you like poetry, if you like spoken word, it's more that kind of flavor right there. But if you like it, this is my story, my journey, me sharing it with you. Check it out.
It's crazy how I still talk to myself like Paul did in Romans, like maybe I'm appalled in the knowing that I'm still a man. And as a man of God, I try and keep a holy walk, even home alone like Macaulay Culkin. All my thoughts gotta lift up my dad, kinda like benching my pops. By the way, did I mention my pops and I turned over a new leaf? Ain't my place to judge his love. Thankful that my God ain't just judging us, but he does show us what we're doing wrong, gave us all a better way. We don't see the odds, throw the better way. We don't see the cards that were set to play, cause I got my hand in his hand in the grip of grace. That's why I reciprocate, get a lot and give away. Might be in his favor, but to be able to say it couldn't pay enough. Maybe when the game is done and they wanna tally up my portions and see I got it cracking like some porcelain. Of course, when your course defines who you are, then the question is, who is the person you kept above your core friends? I got a fortune, and I ain't talking money-wise. I need new material like funny guys. Yeah, I know it's funny, right? Me worshiping money like it's God. I tell him me worshiping hundreds must be the book of Psalm. I'm talking more than gas if I say I'm climbing too. And I ain't talking vans if I'm waiting for my rendezvous. I'm being honest too. You got an assignment due. The race is won by the swift. We run it like it's Sonic 2. Plus, I'm the kind of dude that has to get the job done. Blessed to get my gifts as a godson. Speaking of my godson, he gave his only life for his children. In turn, I'm indebted as his pilgrim. Always in the field when the time's tough. Maybe on my last breath, I can reach your soul like the one that hung to his left. Get it done to the death. Feel the sun on my chest so they can feel it now or later. Everyone will confess, everyone at their best. Maybe that's my dream talking. Maybe Dr. King's little dreams walking after all.
I'm feeling very,
It is
very
aggressive.
confident today.
Got a diamond in its mouth.
Yeah.
You're feeling defiant.
I'm breaking all the rules today, people.
Breaking them all.
Hey y'all, I love this. I feel like y'all are my crew. I feel like yeah, it's like y'all are awesome. I love hearing your poem like that.
That was dope.
That said a lot. That was cool.
Thank you. You know, prayer is more like a me thing, and that's kind of where I was coming from. But I feel like this is more of a we thing. And I don't know like what word I would use to describe that. Like, what is that?
I was thinking about that the other day, and I think the word that you're thinking about is community.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Community.
There it is.
And I've come to find that school, jobs, work, gym, dieting, fasting, all these things just work better when you have someone to work them with. You know?
When you got your crew.
You got your crew.
Absolutely.
So true. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but like I want to be known. Like, and I feel like everyone kind of can relate to that. Like, I want to be known by someone, by something. And I mean, I'm sorry to go deep here, but I want to be known by God too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And because I'm the type of person that lacks discipline.
Okay. Be honest.
I'm being honest. Yeah. We can be honest. I find that though my discipline is a lot more like intact and consistent when I have people around me that are being disciplined with me, especially in like prayer, in the area of prayer.
Yeah.
It's like when I know I have friends who pray, it helps me pray more, you know?
Yeah.
And it is kind of hard to feel like God knows you if you don't have anybody in your life that you feel like knows you.
That's true.
Yep.
That's real. Like that makes a lot of sense. I mean, think about it too. You know,
Yeah.
this community thing is really important.
Yeah.
And I wrote another piece.
Oh, come on, poet.
Kind
Another
of touching on it.
Yeah, I love it.
But it's kind of more along the lines of what do people do when they don't feel like they're known?
The amount of self-editing we're able to achieve these days is a little hard to believe. But isn't that the point? To be unbelievably good at life? Unbelievably acceptable. Each person carrying their daily list of parts to keep hidden. We have social media captions ready for when we need likes. A closet full of the I don't curse version when we're in suspectedly sacred places. The I don't talk bad about other races version for when we're in mixed company. The witty version reserved for bios, tweets, and other limited lines of self-explanations. The selfies on reserve for when the send pics text comes in. But it's killing us. The politely assumed oblivion we take on in public, hoping that if we only see each other through blurred eyes, then the flaws will stay at bay. We can stand in front of the mirror trying on persona after persona, but the truth is, until we take an L to end the game of facades and charades, until we move from persona to personal, we will never get where we're trying to go. When will we learn the actualness of who we are will keep rearing its head in moments when there is not enough time to censor or remember to be on our best behavior? Like a stain that stays wash after wash. We all know an unhealed heart is just as dangerous, even behind the sweetest smile. In the past, entire tribes were steeped in the depth of storytelling, of each individual knowing their story and telling their truth. They felt they owed it to each other to be real, to be connected. It was one thing that knit them, threaded them, seared them together, being able to hold and be held by the beholding of each other's truth. So who wants it? Who can handle it? We owe it to each other. If we could all just say the real you is what we're signed up for as a tribe. It doesn't scare us or put us off or shock us beyond the ability to accept who you are. We accept that your reality makes us stronger. We were made for this. It's one of the last few real things we have left. It's risky, it's painful, it's humbling, and occasionally embarrassing. And it's so worth it.
Have you ever gotten ready to watch the big game, like maybe the Super Bowl? Can you imagine what the Super Bowl would look like if nobody went to the game or watched it on TV? If they just played the game all alone? Not much of an adventure, right? Not that exciting. Imagine a silent Super Bowl. Imagine the same thing in life, because life, it's not supposed to be in solitude, just like the Super Bowl is not supposed to be meant to be played in solitude either. See, last week we said that prayer is a decision that leads to the adventure of knowing God. This week we're talking about one of the keys to staying on that adventure, and the key is community, or maybe a more fresh way to say it is to have a crew. We were wired for connection. We were wired to be known by someone, and the church is designed from its beginnings to make that happen. It says, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. So go ahead and take a second and tell somebody your worst sin. Go ahead. Of course not. You would never do that in a big group. But don't miss this. Getting real was God's idea for his people. We prefer to hide our flaws, but check this out. If you don't share the real you, you're basically saying that you don't really want to be known. But you do want to be known. We all do. And being known is a massive key to staying or getting on the adventure of faith. James says that when you confess your sins to each other, you get healed, not physically. He's just saying that something happens on the inside when we do something on the outside. But we can't do that in a big room. Too many people, too much potential for gossip, too hard to encourage each other. So the writer of Hebrews says, let us consider how to spur one another on toward love and good deeds. He says, let's figure out how to do this. It's a one another thing. Be in each other's lives so that you can figure out how to individually do this. These are not commands for a large group. Paul says church is supposed to look like this. If someone is caught in a sin, you who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently, not public humiliation in front of a big church. He says things like carry each other's burdens. How can I carry your burdens unless I know your burdens? It can't happen in a large group church. I can't carry everybody's stuff. The only way to carry anybody's burdens is to know what their burden is. He says, accept one another just as Christ accepted you. Do you know why God accepted you the way that you are? So he could transform you into who he wanted you to be. He doesn't want to leave you that way. He wants to transform you into who he wants you to be. And that will happen when you surround yourself by people who are being transformed in a group. A circle, a group, a crew. Here's the truth, life happens in circles. That's where everybody knows each other. That's where you find acceptance and life change and encouragement and burden carriers. That's where transformation happens. You find out that everybody still loves you no matter what you've done. People start saying, yeah, me too. You find out you're not alone. Others are going through what you're going through, and you can challenge each other to grow and to fight and not give up. Circles are better than rows at church because life happens in circles. And unless you have a great circle, a great crew, you'll likely give up on the adventure of knowing God. So you're not as good as you need to be yet, and a circle can help you get there. We all want to be known and loved because when we get known, we get better.
Man, Darren just snapped again. What was your favorite part of what he said?
I mean, it's hard not to look at Darren and not just feel like it's a friend. I'm looking at a friend. I mean, he's literally wearing the sweatshirt,
Right.
the crew sweatshirt. And so
I almost wore mine.
Look, it's like when I'm looking at him, I'm looking at somebody who I've had highs and lows with. And when he says this moment, life happens in circles, it's no truer words can be spoken because when you're walking through life with a friend, there's gonna be high moments. You know, we know this when we walk through life with each other. There's your low moments, there's high moments, and that's like life. And that's the beauty of it because in those low moments, you guys draw closer, you learn more about people in their lowest moments, and then you can celebrate them even more in their highest moments. I just think he nailed it when he made that statement because I think the more you dissect it, the more you realize how accurate it is. So.
Well, listen, we have another friend. His name's Glow.
Yep.
He wrote a song about this. He's gonna close us out. And in this song, he's talking about what would life look like if we were all with each other, for each other, doing life with each other.
Yes.
This song is called For You. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, one time for the people. We do it all for the people. We stand together as equals. We all know where we came from. Now let me tell you what we came for. We came for the lost and the broken, to give hope to the hearts of the hopeless, to be the voice of the voiceless, let you know in a world full of choices, God chose you. If you don't believe me, love is the proof. I know what it feels like to feel like you done messed up your whole life, to feel like the whole world is against you, but God will forever be for you. So will we. Together we stand, divided we fall. I will never let you fall. All for one and one for all. To each other we become. Oh yeah, I will always be here for you. Whenever you need me, I'll be right there for you. I'm for you, 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 yeah, I'm for you, 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 I'm for you. Oh yeah, I'm for you. You my brother, my sister, I go to war for you. This a we thing, yeah, we keep the love going. Together we better, divided we fall. All for one, you know, one for all. Let's go, yeah. Level up, never let nothing come between us. Oh yeah, when you need me, you just call me, I'ma be there. Jesus was all about people, so we do it all for the people. He did it for me, I do it for you. Yeah, that's a good enough reason. I wanna see you win, yeah. As long as I'm breathing, you will never be. Yeah.